Welcome to Audible Interlude, a G.I. Joe podcast. I'm your host, Dave West, codename Phantom Troublemaker.
And I'm your co-host, Noel Wood, codename Crapshoot.
And I'm your Cobra intern that's on the road again, spending money and hanging with my friends. I can't wait to be on that JoeFest road again.
Now we need
Codename Legion Cub.
now we need a Cobra intern shirt with the braids.
Can I get a sensible wig before
I-
JoeFest?
Well, you know what? I've got to tell everybody that's hanging out in the chat right now, Swordsman 007, Rekship 85, Toy Reclaimer, and Will R, and everybody listening and everybody that's going to end up watching. I got to tell you, our R&D department is falling short lately, and I apologize for that. We've got shirt designs that we need to get going. We've still got a tactical shovel that needs to be developed further. And when I say our R&D department, I mean me. I've just been really busy. More goodies behind me for sharing, because tonight we're going to be talking all about JoeFest 2024. And even if you're not going to JoeFest, we're going to be sharing a lot of cool information. We've got a little bit of news to talk about, but we're going to be sharing our enthusiasm for JoeFest and talking about the cool things that we're going to have coming out of JoeFest. So lots of fun. And, we do this 2 weeks in a row here. You've got 2 live streams in a row from us, which I hope is going to satiate everybody for a little bit, because our next live stream, I'm doing my slides out of order. This is what happens. Our next live stream is going to be on July the 8th. So next week, our episode is going to be the JoeFest live panel, plus some bonus goodies that we're planning on over the weekend. And then the week after that, we are going to do a segments episode, audio only, unless you're a member. Here we go. Let me go back to the beginning now. Of AudibleArmy.com. AudibleArmy.com is the Audible Interlude subscription service. $1.99 a month gets you access to my show notes before each episode is released, early and ad-free access to all audio episodes, exclusive video access to the recordings of audio episodes. So our audio episodes, obviously, we're recording on StreamYard, just like we're doing right now, but only the audio goes out to the general public. AudibleArmy.com gets to watch along the video just like you're doing right now. You get early access to all G.I. Joe reviews and G.I. Joe adjacent reviews on the Needless Things YouTube channel, the opportunity to vote on content for the show, or have early access to interactive stuff that we do on the show, like our sound offs, like our Lieutenant Colonel Mongoose Q&A that's coming up. And also, I've been doing exclusive videos pretty much every week. Last week, I did a review of a Battle Core Frostbite, and this week I am doing a review of a Star Brigade, or an unboxing, because they were all meant on card, Star Brigade Payload. And then after that, of course, I will have gone to JoeFest, and I'll have all kinds of new stuff to review exclusively on AudibleArmy.com. It is the most...
You'll have a whole different type of payload that you're bringing back to you. And
that is correct. So AudibleArmy.com. Check it out. So we got to talk now. Usually I just throw up images of our hats and whatnot, but I have... not on whatnot. That's a leap I'm not ready to take. A full new order of Audible Interlude version 2.0 hats. We will have these at JoeFest. Couple are already spoken for. $20 a piece. We will be able to take PayPal or cash or whatever you got. But Audible Interlude hats. And if we sell all of those, we will have another run at Dragon Con. And if we don't sell all of those, we'll have like 5 of them at Dragon Con. We'll see how it goes. What else have we got? And of course, you're going to want to wear your Audible Interlude t-shirt to JoeFest, because if we see you in that Audible Interlude t-shirt, you will be the recipient of an exclusive... Oh, wait, let me put myself in the big picture here. Audible Interlude itty bitty ditty bag full of Audible Interlude treats. You will be able to get this itty bitty ditty bag by either wearing Audible Interlude merchandise when you meet us or come to the panel, or if you interact with us during the panel. If you do some trivia, give us some input, whatever, we'll give you an itty bitty ditty bag.
And you may or may not find pieces of Falcon in the itty bitty ditty bag.
I made a factory deal with Hasbro. There are 87 Falcon heads stuck in those itty bitty ditty bags. That is not true at all. All right, let's see. Where are we now? Here we go. Oh, yeah, I want to bring this up as well, too. If you have not checked out, I should put us all back up. If you have not yet checked out our appearance on Toy Domination, go to the Toy Domination channel. We were on there with Ed, who is the creator and showrunner, I guess, of JoeFest. Much like the parade that celebrates all the parades in New York City, JoeFest celebrates all of the fests across the country. No, JoeFest, Ed Schumacher, and ourselves on Toy Domination. Go check out that episode. We had a lot of fun, and it should be available in perpetuity on his channel, just like the episode you're watching or listening to right now will be available on the Needless Things YouTube channel. And now it is time to talk about some events we've got. I did an interview with Alex Antone, who is the editor for G.I. Joe Real American Hero from Skybound. He is working with Larry Hama and that creative team to continue the adventures of G.I. Joe that have been happening since 1982. We had a great conversation, not just about Real American Hero, but about the compendium, the Skybound compendium that's coming out. We talked a lot about that. We answered some questions. We cleared some things up. This will be available tomorrow on the Needless Things YouTube channel, and an audio version will be available wherever you get your podcast. So this is just going out to the public at large, but it will be available, is available right now at audiblearmy.com. It actually went up, I think, Friday night, Thursday night, a few days ago at audiblearmy.com. What else? So we're cooking so many things, fellas.
We are.
I already talked about our next live stream on July 8th. Put it on your calendar right now. And we have scheduled the Audible Interlude podcast meetup for JoeFest. Will be at 9 p.m. Friday evening. We will figure out the meeting. Follow us at Audible Interlude Podcast on Instagram. Feel free to shoot us messages there. If you're on audiblearmy.com, we will respond much faster. But we will reveal where we're going to meet up once we get to the hotel and figure out where we're going to meet up. But I have a little idea. I'll go ahead and throw it out there for everybody watching right now. Oh, look at this. Swordsman 007. My Braca Beach shirt should be here tomorrow. Yes. The perfect shirt for summertime. Here's what I'm thinking. The Marriott Convention Center in Augusta is a pretty large space with a lot of rooms. I'm thinking 9 p.m. Friday night, maybe we find one of those rooms, one of those conference rooms that isn't being used, and we have a little impromptu panel. But instead of it just being us, it's everyone. Everyone that shows up for the meetup, we just sit down and we record an episode with whoever's there. Have some beverages, and just have some general G.I. Joe fun.
I am very good at finding rooms that aren't being used.
Yes, we basically were ready to do the game show in a room last year, completely unauthorized. When things, the things that happened. So yeah, that is our plan. All right, and then this is going to be very exciting for everyone. I had to change the schedule just a little bit because when you've got a panel at 10 a.m., you're going to have to get a shower in. You're going to have to get breakfast in. So The Audible Interlude Get Fit March is at 7 a.m. Saturday morning.
Even more reason for me not to show up.
Noel and Kristian will not be there, but we will be...
It depends.
Well,
I might
Kristian
be up for the night before.
Yeah, I was going to say, you guys might still be up. We will be meeting at the little amphitheater setup that's just outside of the convention center, right on the Riverwalk there. And we will just do a couple of walks up the side of the Riverwalk. We'll hang out. We'll talk about Joe, and we'll get our steps in. And everyone that shows up for the Audible Interlude Get Fit March will receive an Audible Interlude dog tag. And the only way that you can get one of these dog tags is either to show up for the march or to win an itty bitty ditty bag, because every itty bitty ditty bag will have, in addition to other treats, will have one of these dog tags in it. So that's how you can get yourself an Audible Interlude dog tag. They will not be for sale in any way. You have to earn them. All right.
Got to put in the legwork.
Oh, here's the strangely horrible image of the dog tag that I made. I don't know why this is so blurry and bad, but that's there you go.
The yellow is a good distraction.
Right. Well, and that's what I thought. I just couldn't get a good picture of it. It's because they're so beautiful. Rekship85 says, "How dare you incentivize me to be healthy with trinkets?" It's the only thing that works for some of us. I believe me. I
don't worry, Rekship. I'll have shots ready.
7 a.m. shots. No, we'll have mimosas.
Bloody Marys.
Joe-mosas.
Well-mosas. Joe-mosas.
Mijosas? I don't know. We're going to workshop that. And then Saturday morning at 10 a.m., as I said, our Saturday morning kickoff show at JoeFest. We will be on the second floor in the big panel room that everybody should be familiar with. And if you're not, we'll make sure you know how to find it. But it's going to be a live panel. We're going to have lots of audience interactivity because that's what we do. We're going to run down what's happening at JoeFest. Should be a really good time for everybody. And like I said, we're going to be giving away itty bitty ditty bags, and we'll have those hats to sell. All right. Well, fellas, that's a lot. I'm out of breath. You know what? Let's call it a night. We've still got to review Destro #1, which will be going up on audiblearmy.com as soon as we get it done. But I'm tired. Let's just call it a night. Yeah.
Yeah, there's not much else going on.
No,
we don't have anything.
I've got packing to do. All right. No, we've got too much to talk about. And we do have some news to cover. Just a dab of news. A little dab will do you. First of all, we've got to talk about this meme that I find absolutely preposterous. Media says the average adult spends $255 per year on their hobbies.
Which is insane.
It's preposterous.
Because even people who have no hobbies spend more than $255 a year on their hobbies.
Right.
Yeah, that's like... Well, for Dave, that's like a week. For some of us, that's a month.
Hold on there, pal. That's not entirely wrong.
That's like, if you go see movies, if you go to a sports game, whatever that is, those are your hobbies.
That's like 10 movies an entire year.
Yeah.
That's like 2 movies if you have a family.
Well, yeah, right. So yeah, this is nonsense that somebody made up to get attention. It's and
we gave it to them.
Yes, we did. And look, it's not like we have any expectation that all memes are going to be real. But I just saw that and I was like, that's stupid. And I used words other than that's and stupid, but I won't repeat them here on our family-friendly show.
I wonder if we should do a countdown. I'll have on my Instagram, I'll do $255 in the corner, and we'll see how long it takes me to blow through that at JoeFest.
I will not do that. Oh, actually, well, yeah, you know what? For JoeFest, because I think we're all comfortable admitting we're probably going to spend $255 at JoeFest, right?
there's a very good
Probably.
chance.
Like
that'll
just
happen.
on stuff, not on. I mean, obviously, we're going to spend way more than that on food and lodging and whatever else.
Yeah.
Beverages. Why don't we do that? Why don't we take a tally of how long it takes each of us to spend $255 at JoeFest? And anybody listening, anybody that bumps into us at JoeFest, you are welcome to keep track your own way. And maybe, I mean, it's possible by Friday
Swordsman,
night.
you are correct. $255 will come out of my wallet in the first hour, and that's probably the preview night, depending if a certain
Right.
company has.
Oh my
a
gosh!
certain
Right.
figure.
Well, we'll get there. We'll get there. So next up, we've got a little bit, like I said, a little bit more news to cover. Kristian, I'm going to leave this one to you because I didn't watch the unboxing because I want to do my own unboxing. I don't want to experience Lenny and T-Bob's thrills. I want my own thrill. I'm Armac.
Say T-Bob.
I did say T-Bob.
Or Scott to go with him. Scott Tracker and T-Bob.
But I don't want to experience
keeping
their
with
thrills.
that,
my thrill.
I wanted to take some spoiler-free reviews as to not ruin anything for you or anybody else. But so my first note is the unboxing video started right off. Unlike JUN, where I had to sit for 15 minutes. So congratulations, Hasbro. So it is a big box. I don't know that it looks quite as big as the Hiss box, or
No,
maybe we're just used to it. However, there is assembly required because they broke it down in order to get it to fit
Good
in the box.
I love assembly.
Okay. So much like the Sky Striker, there's stickers, and they did some creative designs. Personally, I think it's neat. I'm not going to use them. But if you are a fan of racing or the undead, or you're going to have a lot of different looks. Probably the only sticker I will use, they did make stickers to go on the base. I thought that was a neat idea. It'll give that a little bit more pop. There's a chips and salsa Easter egg in there that I don't want to give too much away for Dave. And because I have been on this Archer kick again recently, I just have to point out the whole time when they were putting this thing together, the phrasing, because that tail will clip in tight when we slide it in. Let's slide this in and see how big it gets. I mean, come on, Lenny. Come on. We are a Naga hide away from macaque there.
We're bad influence on Lenny, clearly.
Yep. Phrasing.
Yeah.
I do also like that the wings are directional. So unlike our Trouble Bubble pieces, there is only one way for those wings to go in.
Nice.
It cannot be wrong. The blast effects are made out of a rigid plastic so that over time they do not bend or warp. Now, I'm kind of curious for our listeners, and let us know in the comments or on our Instagram. Do you guys display with the blast effects always on? Or do you display it as normal and then occasionally do blast effects? Because I know with my Sky Striker, I don't have any of the blast effects.
For me, it depends on what it is. My Sky Striker, I've got the
jet blast.
Yeah, I've got the jets in. I'm not launching any of the rockets, but then there's other stuff I've got. I'm trying to think.
I've got my scrap iron with one of them, but it's just sagging.
Oh.
And I think that's why, like, they pointed out that this is a rigid, hard plastic, so that won't happen. And then
my metalhead my metalhead has the blasts because what else are you going to do with it?
That's what Will said. But
Well,
see,
and it looks great.
I don't despise. I don't display mine with the rockets.
You just
I
got
wish
the
I could.
holes?
I wish I could. Store the rockets inside, but I'm just not ready to customize them.
I wonder
yet.
if maybe somebody at JoeFest might have some like 3D printed caps that look like the old Metalheads rockets that you could plug in
That's
there.
what I'm hoping for.
That would be really cool.
Also, and then lastly, when it comes to the figures, for the people that are mint in box, I do like that there is artwork if you display the boxes on the shelf. There's artwork if you display them, unlike Noel, with the back of the box forward. Poor Glinda, her artwork, it's the only one that, I don't know, maybe that was the last one the artist drew, and he was like, I just want to finish this so I can go to bed.
Does she look like the end of a Dean Koontz book? Like they just ran out of time and really didn't care?
Yeah, because the others all look so good, and she's not bad. She just looks very rushed. Okay. And I'm hoping when we get her in hand, I told the guys when I was watching it, and maybe it's just that one hair piece that they had on her, but Glinda looks like Sharon Osbourne, and I'm not quite ready for that on my shelf yet.
Like
and I was
1983 Sharon Osbourne or 2024 Sharon Osbourne?
2024 Sharon Osbourne face.
Okay, that's
like
I don't know about that.
It's so, but again, it could just be the lighting or the hair piece.
Right.
But
I mean, it's the same exact sculpt as the Retro Scarlet, though, right?
No, the face is different.
No, the face is different.
Yeah, they don't reuse portraits.
And when you open the box, you'll know if it's right side up because you open it from the side this time as opposed to the Hiss tank. So they actually put notches in so you can pull them out like drawers. So if the notches are not on the right side, flip your box over.
Okay.
And that's it for my spoiler-free review.
Well, perfect, because we got to talk about our next item. I just can't believe these keep on coming. More Order of the Crimson Moon. We have the Crimson Moon Noir Elite Guard, which is just a reversal of colors of one of the other guards. Looks absolutely awesome. I'm in on this one as well. But then, you guys, tell me, what was your reaction?
I mean, it's way worse when it's red,
right?
Than it would be in blue. That's for sure.
But it looks incredible.
Yeah, it looks great.
And the 3 different masks, I love the different color schemes they've got going on. The robe, I didn't see the robe at first because, again, as always, I just ordered the thing. I didn't even look at the detail picture here with all the accessories. I knew I had to have it. But he's got a spell book and gloved hands and ungloved hands and the soft goods robe. Like, this is wild.
A lot of these are going to be purchased and painted,
Yep.
I have a feeling.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And you almost have to wonder, do you think maybe they made a point of making the socket compatible with a Hasbro figure?
I'm guessing it's going to be compatible because they knew what they were doing.
Oh,
yeah. They saved this. I'm hoping for last because my wallet probably can't take any more. Oh my no.
Wotash says they're celebrating Wookiee Life Day. And who wouldn't?
I thought he was the leader of the Stonecutters.
Rachel is in the chat. Crimson Moon stuff looks incredible. I picked up 2 4-inch figures. Yeah, it's tough for me to not buy the smaller figures because I'm not collecting that stuff. But A lot of it's starting to come into stock now between the Eagle Force and some of the Monster Force stuff. It's really hard for me to resist, and it's going to be even harder for me to resist when I'm at JoeFest and it is in my face. But I'm going to. I'm going to stay strong. I'm not going to spend my $255 on Eagle Force. But I am going to spend a good chunk of it on Monster Force, which we'll talk about in just a little bit.
But if this wasn't funded, it is now.
Oh, yeah.
As soon as that dropped, I was like,
Well, they said they were going to be doing updates on the... Well, I haven't gone to Fresh Monkey Fiction's website, so I don't know if they have given updates. But they, with the Naughty or Nice stuff, they actually keep running, like they'll update every couple of weeks with where each figure is. And I guess if we were reputable at all, we would have done some research there. But maybe we'll update at JoeFest.
There you go.
We'll check in there and talk about it at our panel. All right. Target Summer Geek Out is back. It's time for the 6 most whelming Fridays of summer. They already had one with a bunch of McFarlane stuff. So they've got 5 more Fridays where summer toy exclusives are going to happen. As far as we know, Hasbro doesn't have anything lined up unless that Tiger Paw is going to be part of this. And there was some kind of weird, well, no, that because that already went up on Target, didn't it? I was thinking it just went up on Pulse, but I think it went up on both. So yeah, as far as we know, there's nothing from Joe for this, but I just wanted to point out it's happening. And we want to do a little check-in real quick on our JUN pre-orders.
Maybe to go back to the last thing, maybe they're going to just like throw out a tiger sting on us without warning.
Oh my gosh. Wouldn't that be wild? Yeah, Toy Reclaimer says I got it on Target. Yeah, I remember ordering from Target, and then it sold out, and I ordered from Pulse as well. So, yeah, it was definitely up on Target too. Okay, so JUN last week, our retro pre-orders went up. I ended up doing my pre-order roulette. I ordered Big Bad, Amazon, and Pulse, all 3 of them, because I'm very interested in seeing that Cobra Trooper in person. As much as I maybe don't totally love it, I really do like the bright blue. The Cobra Commander's a must-have. And then the what the heck was the other one? Stalker. Stalker was the most exciting one out of all of them. So yeah, super excited about Stalker.
Yeah,
and then
I just got one of each of the Stalker and Cobra Commander on Pulse, but I did do 2 on two of the troopers, both on Big Bad, Pulse, and on Amazon. So I got 6 of those probably coming.
I mean, at the very least, you can get 2 of the troopers and just have them behind that Cobra Commander as his like sort of special duty guards or something.
Yeah.
But I got to get it and check it out. And then tomorrow, Mad Marauder Sergeant Slaughter, the Mad Marauder, which is a Famazon exclusive, so that means Amazon and all the online toy retailers. Lowlight and Spirit, which are Pulse exclusive, and the Stinger, which is also a Famazon exclusive, which means it's going to have much wider distribution than the Vamp. It'll be available on Amazon, Big Bad, Entertainment Earth, Amazon. I said Amazon, Pulse, all the online retailers. So I will be very interested to see how long all of those last on Pulse, because it usually has the sellouts first. But once again, I'm going to do my pre-order roulette and order from everywhere, because I actually want all of those items. The Lowlight and Spirit are like way down on my want list, but I do like them. I do want to put them on the shelf. Yeah, Rachel, you are correct. The wallets are going to get stung again tomorrow. Well, but they won't get stung tomorrow. They'll get stung 3 months from now. Or they'll say they're going to be stung 5 months from now, then it'll actually be 3 months from now. But I did want to speculate, what if the Stinger is actually in stock tomorrow and we have to drop $100-something bucks? Like,
that's what I was just thinking with what just happened with the ferret. We're all going to be at JoeFest and then get a shipping notice right. And like, hey, $100.
I got my shipping soon, like Friday. So I'm hoping mine will maybe arrive before JoeFest, but I also don't trust the US mail right now.
Because it's going to, the ferret's going to charge after midnight tonight. which means it'll ship anywhere from tomorrow to next Tuesday. They've been a little unpredictable with that. All right. So on to some JoeFest information, and if you missed it the first time around, we're going to play it again right now. Hey, son, get out of that tree.
It's Audible Interlude.
That's right. It is Audible Interlude, a G.I. Joe podcast, and you can catch us live at JoeFest 2024 in Augusta, Georgia. Noel, we love JoeFest, don't we?
We sure do.
Kristian, we love saving people, don't we?
I love JoeFest more than I love saving children in trees.
It's true. JoeFest is the highest quality G.I. Joe oriented entertainment money can buy. Come on, guys. Let's get out of here.
Yeah.
That's right. You can catch us live at JoeFest. Well, really the whole entire weekend. So show up in some Audible Interlude gear and hang out with us. We have got a lot to cover. I want to start with kind of each of our histories with JoeFest a little bit. The first time I went was 2019, I think. And we loved it. We had the best time ever. And then we were not able to go the next 2 years. Well, they didn't have it the following year. And then 2020.
No, they had it.
We were not. Oh, that's right. They did in like
2020.
September. It was in September, wasn't it?
It was
so
same time that Dragon Con would normally have happened. Yeah. Labor Day.
So yeah, we did not attend that one. One, because we just weren't going to a big, huge public gathering under those conditions. But two, just wasn't going to happen. So I guess in 2021 we went back. Yeah, that's right, because we've been there 3 years, 21, 22, 23 now. We have a great time, as we talked about on the Toy Domination episode. My son enjoys certain G.I. Joe things. He'll sort of pick and choose, but he'll go to JoeFest and end up with like a bag of Ninja Turtles or whatever. Like there's more than just Joe there, and I think it's a good move to have broadened things a bit. And especially this year, I mean, you can see just how big JoeFest has become. Now, Kristian, was last year your first year?
Last year was my first. Yep.
Okay.
I'm not able to go that first year. The podcast was
Right.
there. And yeah, I had an image in my head based off of what I had seen in your videos, the way you guys had talked about it. And this is not hyperbole, listeners. Nothing prepares you. My expectations were completely blown away. And I already thought it was going to be, big. But it just absolutely was one of the best conventions I've been to.
It's a ton of stuff happening. There's a lot to look at, a lot to do, but it also has a weirdly laid back vibe.
Yeah.
Like
Now the nighttime hallway selling can get a little Star Wars cantina ish. But for the most part, like, yeah, you can meander around, run into people. Like, you actually have time to chat with people and not feel rushed. Like, oh, I'm going to miss this. Oh, I'm going to miss that. Like, and I did very much so appreciate that aspect.
And Noel, you've been going for a while.
Yeah, we started going. Our garrison started doing raising money for charity there for the finest, going back to like 2017, I think. Was it 2017 was the first year, or 2018, one or the other? It was in a different location at the time. It was a lot smaller. And you went to the one in 2019 when it was in that smaller location as well. And since then it's grown quite a bit. A lot more vendors. It essentially filled the void that JoeCon left open, because it got announced to be the same weekend that JoeCon typically was, which is also the weekend that HeroesCon often was as well. So that was a conflict for a lot of people.
Yeah.
It was all around this time of year. Like HeroesCon just happened this past weekend in Charlotte. So it was perfect timing for that, because all those people who were going to JoeCon now had something new, and it was great because it's like, oh, the last couple of JoeCons were close by, one in Orlando and one in Chattanooga, and now we're going to have an annual event that's going to take place right here in Augusta every year. So that's a 2-hour drive from my house. I couldn't be happier about that.
Yeah, well, it's mine, because for years I kind of watched JoeCon from afar because traveling just wasn't going to happen. And it's mind-blowing to me that a great G.I. Joe oriented convention is this close to me. It's not something I ever thought, because every year I'd look at JoeCon and be like, well, I can't go to Columbus or wherever. Like they had a couple that were relatively close to. Well, they had one in Atlanta, right?
Yeah, one in Atlanta in 2007. But like the last few before that were Dallas, Loveland, Colorado, and Springfield, Illinois.
Which makes sense. I can't begrudge them that.
But the thing with Loveland and Springfield is that you can't fly into Loveland. You can fly into Denver, and then it's like an hour and a half north.
Oh gosh.
There were no direct flights to Springfield, so you had to fly into Chicago or St. Louis.
That makes sense because they're in no-fly zone.
Yes, exactly. And you could either like take a pedal jumper over there or just rent a car and go in.
That seems like a terrible place to have a convention.
Yeah, like Dallas was great for it, but I mean, it was G.I. Joe in its dying days. This is
right.
This is before Classified.
Yeah, but it was during 25th.
It was at the end of 25th, but at that point in time,
you said 2007.
No, that's when the one in Atlanta was. But I'm talking about the ones.
Oh, you're talking about the far flung ones,
15, 16.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, those were the ones that were real far flung, and there wasn't a lot of G.I. Joe product available at that point, if any at all.
Yeah, like you talking about these other cons just made me remember. What was it? 2006? No, not 16. Before that, the very first official JoeCon that was in Orlando, I went to, and that's a Hasbro. That was a Hasbro Presents show, and other than the sort of exclusives that you could get, JoeFest last year is bigger.
Real quick, we've got to jump into the chat here because we've got some people having a trade night as we speak. So RecShip85 asked, are the trade nights literally just people hawking their stuff at you while you try to do the same? I mean, kind of, but not as abrasive. Because when I first heard about it, I was like, I don't even know if I want to go to that because I cannot deal with people like, hey, I've got modern over here, vintage over here, retro over here. Look, I've got half a Terradrome. Come on over, check it out. I was like, I'm not dealing with that. And that's not what it is. Everybody's very laid back. They're willing to sort of explain their wares to you if you want it. But if you're there with stuff, let me move down into the chat because there's a relevant comment here. RecShip85 says he's got some stuff to hawk for sure. Toy Reclaimer will be there with a box of loose modern. Swordsman 007, you just stand there with your stuff and people look at it without acknowledging your presence. Yes. And I in that sentence, I represent people. So if you see me or hear me, say something and let me know that you know me, or else I will not acknowledge your presence. Because that you don't want to make eye contact with the guy trying to sell the thing that you want, but you don't want to ask him how much it is. You don't want to deal with the haggling or whatever else, or at least I don't. Haggling is the bane of my existence. I hate it. I've only developed the ability to do it at all, really, since I started going to JoeFest. I'm
just going to borrow Noel. It's like,
I
come
don't
here,
haggle,
though.
I'm going to give you money, and will you go talk to this person?
Noel,
I do
not
not
only-
haggle.
I know. You tell them how much you're going to give them, and they go, yes, Noel.
Or
Like,
they say
it's a
no, and then
joke
I say
convention.
thank you, and I put the stuff back.
here's
You're-
what
You're
Noel
using
is
Jedi
driven.
mind tricks.
Here's what Noel's price. We're not negotiating price demanding power. The source of Noel's price demanding power is he knows he has to one up you. If you find a Rattler for $200, well, darn it, Noel's going to find one for $150 and be like, oh yeah, that looks pretty good. I just got one for $150. Like, that's what drives Noel, is to be able to come back to you and be like, well, I got a better deal. And it's a power. It is a superpower because it happens every single time. Look at this mobile command center I got. Oh yeah, I got a mobile command center and 2 Terradromes for $150.
Yeah.
He's laughing because he knows it's true.
Just all I'm saying.
All
all
I'm
I'm saying
saying
is
with the driver.
all I'm saying is I can't wait until Joe and Tell tonight.
Oh, I can't even imagine what you got, you dirty son of a gun. All right. Let's see. Where were we? Oh, yeah. Swordsman 007. If any of you need a Black Series snow speeder, I'm your Huckleberry. What are those going for now? I'm very curious. Oh, if anybody needs a vintage collection TIE Fighter, I'm your Huckleberry. All right. We had a couple more in here I wanted to put over. Toy Reclaimer, I'm bringing a box of 100 new figure shield cases to see if they sell.
So I had this as completely off the doesn't have to do anything we're talking about here, but years ago, I was thinking, I was at Dragon Con and I was like, I could make a ton of money by just bringing a bunch of lanyards here.
Yeah.
Because you got your badge, they gave you that little stupid clip, and you had to go find your own. And so I went out and I bought a whole bunch of cheap lanyards. I mean, it was like $12, but I had like 500 of them, and I was all ready. And then that year, what did Dragon Con start doing?
Started giving out lanyards.
Handing out lanyards with their badges.
That's great.
But I was just like, here, $1. Here, $1. Give me.
To me, the smartest vendor at any convention is the person who comes with Mylar sleeves.
Mm-hmm.
Like 8x10, 11x17 Mylar sleeves, because you're going in and you're getting the prints or you're getting the autographed 8x10s or whatever, and you get it and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't just put this in my backpack. It's going to get destroyed. And then you see the table that has the protective sleeves and you're like, I guess I'll pay $5 for that 75-cent protective sleeve. Those people are geniuses and they're making bank at these conventions.
Yeah.
So Kevin Riddle, last year a guy showed up with a U-Haul out in the parking lot selling. If you're at JoeFest, ask me to tell you the story about the time I was in Dubai and we wanted to find a back alley shop, because that is what that is reminding me of, because the lighting outside of JoeFest was outside the convention center was not necessarily the best.
Those like 70-year-old sodium lights.
Right.
Yeah.
That were just flickering and humming.
Yeah. Road Pig John, what is up, my man? Too much excitement coming for the Joes at JoeFest. Never too much excitement. Exactly the right amount of excitement. New York Night 1974. I'm bringing my wood carving classified whale? What? I can't wait to see this. He says, I had to carve my whale out of wood since HasLab won't make it. Here's what I want. I want to see a scrimshaw whale. Let's make that happen.
Yeah.
Swordsman 007, I carry a binder with sheet protectors in my backpack for signed things. Yeah, I've gotten in the habit. I keep different sizes of those Mylar sleeves. I finally realized one year I was like, oh, wait a minute. I should recycle these. So I keep a supply of those as well. So lots of stuff going on, lots of exciting things. JoeFest is a great time. We talked about budgeting last time. It's very important. Know what you're looking for, have a budget, but have a little bit of flexibility so you can have some fun too, because you want to have at least a couple items that you spontaneously are like, oh, wow, cool. I would really like to have this Cubert. Who doesn't want to take a Cubert home? So like stuff that you just sort of grab and have fun with. Unpredictable stuff. Because I'll be honest, look, if I and Noel and Kristian, I'll be curious to see if you agree with me. So you make your list of stuff that you like really, really want at JoeFest. There's like top items, then there are other like alternate items, and then if I see it items. But wouldn't it be kind of disappointing if you get home after JoeFest and you just have like, here's the list I made, and this is all I have. Like, you didn't get any fun little extras. It was just your list. Like, don't get me wrong. I wouldn't mind finding everything on my list, but like, I like to have one or two.
I was going to say, like, there were so, and I know it's beating a dead horse, but there was such a variety in the dealers that was there. Like, dealers that have Joe stuff, dealers that had no Joe stuff whatsoever, but like 70s and 80s toys. There were not just folks like, Mark II Designs with their 3D printed stuff.
Right.
There were diorama 3D printed people if you wanted, big pieces. So I know for me, like, I had my, yes, come heck or high water, I'm going to find this and I'm going to buy it stuff. But being surprised at all of the other things that I found, I left JoeFest, I feel like, with a decent amount of non-Joe stuff.
Well, and I think it would be hard to go there and not end up with some unexpected things because there's such a variety. All right, we got to move on real quick. I want to run through the guests. Sergeant Slaughter, Mark Pennington, Josh Blaylock. I'm excited about Blaylock. I'm bringing some comics for him to sign. Robert Atkins, Bob Brecken, Michael Charles Hill, creator of Cold Slither and Special Mission Brazil. I cannot wait to meet Michael Charles Hill. I hope he's got some kind of like cool prints or something that he's had made up to have signed, because I don't have a mint in box Special Mission Brazil to have him sign.
You mean you're not going to have him sign your arm so you can get it tattooed?
No, no. So hopefully he's ready for the convention scene and has some kind of prints or something ready to go. Brian Shearer, and then Seth Green, John Harvatine IV, and Claire Grant, known from Robot Chicken fame. And if you've seen that G.I. Joe short that recently went up, they're going to be doing a panel about the creation of that new stop motion short. And then there's another panel that they're going to be doing just about, oh man, my panels are there's so much happening here. Hang on just a second. I'll find it. I promise I'll find it. 4:30 p.m. Oh, there we go. 3 p.m. Robot Chicken, Olmsted, second floor. Olmsted is the big room where most of the main programming panels happen. And then they have another panel, and I can't find where it is. The schedule was a little difficult to parse out, but they're really good about posting it outside the panel room. Also, Dan Larson, who was recently a guest here on Audible Interlude. Go check that episode out. It is available on the Needless Things YouTube channel. And Pixel Dan, who we did ask to come on the show, but he probably gets a lot of requests like that. And we did not hear back from Pixel Dan, but we will talk to him at JoeFest. Just like we'll talk to, not listed, but Brian Flynn. I will finally get my moment in the sun with Brian Flynn after years and years of wanting to talk to that man. One of my idols, one of my heroes. Cannot wait to meet him at JoeFest and probably immediately be on the receiving end of a restraining order.
And unfortunately, although she is listed on the splash page on the JoeFest website, Morgan Lofting will not be there this year.
Yes, that is correct. So nice little guest list. No wrestlers this year, though. I was a little disappointed by that.
Except for Sergeant Slaughter.
Slaughter is more in this environment.
And Seth Green has wrestled a match in WWE, hasn't he?
I don't think he has. He's been involved in segments, but I don't think he ever actually wrestled a match.
I couldn't remember if he did one of those. in
Maybe
wacky
that's a
guest
surprise.
hosting days.
We'll ask him.
He's going to battle Sergeant Slaughter in the main event on Saturday.
exactly.
I hope so. Yeah, I got 2 of the best signatures I've ever gotten from Jerry Lawler and Ricky Steamboat last year. Schedule, we're just going to hit on a couple of things here. There's, of course, the custom class Friday at 10 a.m., scheduled to last 5 hours. That is for the Cobra Warlord custom figure that is sold out. No more spots open in the custom class. And while I will not be able to make the class, I did get a ticket, so I will get my Cobra Warlord parts. 6 p.m. the show floor opens. 7 p.m. Invincible Toys has the first official panel of JoeFest. And then at 8 p.m. the parachute drop near the main entrance on the second floor. Parachutes and free shirts. And boy, that's going to be a sight to see. That's all I'm going to say, because Marauders are going to be dropping we'll talk about that in a minute. And then Saturday, 10 a.m., the show floor opens and Audible Interlude hosts the kickoff panel. Panels all day long on Saturday. I'm not going to run through them all. You can find them on the schedule on the JoeFest Facebook page. But tons and tons and tons of stuff to keep your attention all weekend long. And now we've got to talk, you guys, about the exclusives. And in the past, do you guys remember there being like specific JoeFest exclusives that were labeled as such? I know Chicken Fried Toys has had a couple of things they debuted at JoeFest, and I think Marauders have had a couple of things they've showed up with that maybe weren't labeled as JoeFest exclusives, but were.
I've seen like a couple of, like, I think it was Destro's Toy was doing those custom Crystal Ball classified figures. Was that last year? So they've done stuff like that, but that wasn't like from one of the official.
Right.
Toy
this
companies.
year, $255 is not going to get you all of the customs that are available. Starting off, this one popped up. We're going in order of recency, actually, because I had to go through their Instagram feed and just kind of look at everything. This one is coming from the 3 Joe Bros. It is a custom classified female action figure. This is a classified figure. There are only 25 of them, and they are $140 each. I'll be curious to see this one in person, see what it looks like. The box obviously looks pretty familiar, and the character, well, we've been following her adventures in G.I. Joe Real American Hero, which we've been reviewing regularly here on the show. This is a Marauder Z-Force Paratrooper that you will be able to get for free at the parachute drop if you are lucky enough to catch one. Marauder Gunrunners have donated, I don't know how many of these, a certain number of these to the parachute drop. They will be dropped without their gear, so it's just going to be the figure with the parachute. And then you can stop by the Marauder booth at any point during the weekend and be like, look, I got one of these, and they'll give you the gear to go with the figure. And you will also be able to purchase the paratrooper figure at the Marauder booth.
Don't push down any children to get one of these, please.
Or for any reason.
Yeah, for any reason. And don't push down adults either. It's just, especially not children.
Don't push down anybody.
You know what? To make it easier for you, pick the child up to give you the extra height
and throw
then
the child
rip it from his hand.
I have seen that happen before. This is not just me saying that speculatively. Yeah. I have seen people actually shove children out of the way to grab custom figures at parachute drops.
But the other side of that is I have also seen bewildered dads shove their children into the middle of a crowd to get these kinds of figures and say, don't push my child. And the kid's like, what am I doing? I don't understand. And then they manage to get one of the figures and the dad's like, good job, Junior, yoink. So there's all kinds of chicanery that can go down in these situations. And I'm just going to say this. I'm not worried about getting one of these figures. I'm more concerned about filming the whole thing. So anybody who thinks they're going to be kicking kids over and getting these figures and getting away scot-free, old Dave's going to be recording the whole thing and will catch your dirty deeds on film. Well, not on film, on digital recording methods. So just know you're being watched, evildoers. Next up, pretty exciting, something we've talked about on the show before, a classified scale Viper and Falcon. These are by G.I. Jason. They are sturdy. They are not made of foam, so they're not going to bust apart the first time you fly them across the room. They look to be a pretty decent scale. I'm excited to take a look at these in person as well.
They're going to be very large.
Wreckship 85, going to hold that kid up like Simba from Pride Rock.
Real quick, because for some reason my chat has grayed out.
No.
But
what, did
Michael,
you curse? Did you curse in the chat? Are you banned?
Michael, message us on Instagram and we'll circle back. Because he's got some cool G.I. Joe Archie mashup artwork he got from.
Oh, okay. Wait. Here we go. Michael Kleppinger. For unique things, don't forget to see what the artists are doing. One year, the current artist from Archie Comics was there. He got bored and started doing mashups of Archie G.I. Joe characters. I got Betty as Scarlet and Veronica as the Baroness, done in Archie style. That's awesome. Oh, he was even doing Jughead as Shipwreck, which is about the most perfect matchup I have ever heard of. Good call out. Yeah, don't forget to check out the Artist Alley as well. All right. Legion Cub said, fudge. All right. Moving on, there is the Cobra Warlord. As I said, sold out, but I'm very excited to see all the parts that they produced to go along with him. That's from our pals at Grindhouse Toys. This blew my mind. Kristian, that look on your face suggests to me you might not have seen this.
I did not.
Ooh, this is in stock at the show. Ramen Toy, the Stealth Gull Wing, which anybody watching this with us knows exactly what you're looking at right now. Complete with Mads Hawking in Night Ops suit. This has a different display from the regular Gull Wing. This thing looks awesome.
I love the black.
$180. Of course, you don't have to pay shipping because they will have it on site at the show. Only 200 units. And I'll tell you, I'm really glad this is not 1/18 scale. It is original mask scale, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Because if this is
7.6 centimeter tall figures, or
if this was 1/18 scale, I would be buying it. So I'm glad it is not. But this is another. All of these, I can't wait to see them in person. This thing looks awesome.
Yeah, was Ramen Toys there last year?
No, they were not.
Okay, so
this is their first year at JoeFest. Did you see their BotCon exclusive?
No.
The Shattered Glass Gull Wing. Look it up after the show. Look that one up. I should have.
Oh man, if they have their prototype for 3030 there.
Oh yeah,
folks.
I want to see that. Swordsman 007 says if anyone wants the OG red Gull Wing, I'll be bringing that too. Swordsman 007 is going to be making $255 the first day of the show
from all of us.
Yeah, right. Okay, let's see. Where were we? We were right here. This is an interesting take. This is a JoeFest event exclusive limited edition Hunter MBT, which again, if you're looking at this on the video, you know exactly what you're looking at. Now, this is an event exclusive pre-order. They will not have these at the show, but the $180 price tag includes the shipping. So you pay your $180 for this at the show, and they ship it to you whenever they're done with production or whatever.
That is insane. That this is 180.
Yes.
So this is the same price as the Gull Wing.
Yes.
And this is 1/12 scale Mauler.
Yes.
That's mind blowing.
Well, if you remember though, when we were looking at the pictures, because they did share some of the prototype images of the tank that this is the body that this is using, it is a little. It's only 20 inches long, so it's a little small. Well, I know
Only 20 inches.
It's still a huge toy, but it is not like scaled. It's not even upscaled for what the Mauler should be to go with classified. It's going to be a little smaller, but again, I'm sure they'll have those prototypes on display, and you'll be able to see the dimensions of this. Very curious to see this thing as well.
It'll actually probably scale with the 3 3/4 inch figures if you're looking at real world scaling.
And that's going to make it a very popular item. All right, next up, we have a special release of the retro Wolf Trooper Skeletron figure from our pals at Skeletron, with a variant card back by Douglas Hart. This is a must-have for me. These are $25, same price as the original Wolf Trooper Skeletron figure, because I wanted to have one of those to keep mint on card anyway, and this is the perfect answer to that. Michael Kleppinger says, by the way, for anyone not familiar with Ramen Toy, these are not 3D printed. They are tooled plastic, just like commercial toys. And that's my big thing is I want to feel some Ramen Toy plastic, because looking at it, you can't tell. I know it's not 3D printed, but is it, what grade of plastic is this stuff? Because I've heard some things, I've heard some other things. I need to see it with my own eyes, feel it with my own hands. Because there's a lot of stuff Ramen is doing that looks awesome, but I just can't commit sight unseen. And of course, more pals. Delta 17 will have the Okami Elite Sentry available. This is a red colorway of the Okami. This thing looks awesome. $25. Be available at Delta 17, and Delta 17 will have their regular product there at their table as well. So if you have not yet grabbed their figures, because you don't want to pay the shipping or whatever reason there may be, you'll be able to buy Delta 17 stuff there at JoeFest, and a portion of my 255 is going to be going to that for sure. Here we go, Kristian. Hold on to your butt. Oh wait, so that's the packaging for the Delta 17, which is awesome. I love seeing it, but
I know.
Look at him.
I know.
This is awesome. And we were just speculating about whether or not they might have any Monster Force product. It didn't even occur to me they might have JoeFest exclusives. And it certainly didn't occur to me they'd be translucent plastic exclusives.
That's the thing. Is like, I don't have the obsession with translucent figures like you or glow in the dark, but this, I mean, it's Dracula. So having a translucent blood variant makes so much sense, and he just looks amazing.
Well,
Like,
it kind of reminds me of the Blood God from Blade.
Yeah.
Like, just that, I don't know. I love it. I mean,
Yeah.
yes, I do
like
have the
preview night. This is where I'm torn, because I'm like, I feel like the Monster Force booth has to be the first one that I get to, so that I can get this. Because we know obviously limited quantities, but I haven't seen anything that says how limited.
Well, okay. So here's the skinny on this. They are going to have a quantity of bagged and carted. Well, okay. So we've got this Blood Prince Dracula, and they will also have the Omen of Doom Forgotten King. I'm getting them both 100% because I got to review them. I got to check these things out. I've been dying for this Monster Force product forever. And I think these are both beautiful. So they will have a certain quantity of both of these figures bagged and carted available at JoeFest. They will be made available later on. Whatever's left over after JoeFest will be available on Big Bad Toy Store after the event. And then these will also be part of a future regular assortment.
Oh, silly monster force.
So
You think there will be any left
I
over
know,
after
right?
JoeFest?
I know. Uh,
You're going to have an empty truck going back.
so, but these are, while they're basically JoeFest first, which I'm good with because I just want to get my hands on these figures. And these
Mhm.
look, what a cool way. Because, these obviously didn't have to have any deco or anything. So they were easier to get produced and get into their hands and bring to JoeFest. So I can't wait to open these up and review them. And chances are both of these will be part of the Needless Things YouTube channel set of reviews the week following JoeFest. All right. Oh, and these are $40 a piece. Moving on. Another one from Fresh Monkey Fiction. Look at this guy. This is, and I'm going to absolutely murder this pronunciation, Le Nettoyeur, the Assassin, which is basically Mr. Clean. I think we've got a play on the cleaner, Mr. Clean going on. Nice looking figure. I dig it. It's 1/18 scale, so it is outside of my current collection, but I think it'll do well. And it's from the world of Eagle Force, which the problem that I am going to have is seeing all of those beautiful gold Eagle Force figures in my face.
I believe they were the last booth that I visited before I had to leave to head back to Florida. And I was just standing like, if I pull the trigger,
I
then I'm
know.
going to end up on Big Bad with like 50.
Well, and that's the problem is they're like potato chips. They're delicious and salty.
Yep.
What is happening, David Emanuele? Welcome to the chat. Also joined by Chad Kinsler here hanging out with us. What is up, Chad? Swordsman 007 looks like they're blockhead. Oh, you're totally right.
Yep.
I think that's absolutely what it is. That Charlie Brown blockhead figure. Did not catch that at all. Wreckship 85. Hit that like button, fellas and ladies. That's right. Smash that like button. Yeah. Boo, 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 boo. Another friend of the show. I love being able to say friend of the show about like literally almost everything that we've talked about here. From Grindhouse Toys, the Multiverse Massacre Necromancer, which was revealed right here on Audible Interlude just a few weeks ago. Well, a couple months ago now, maybe.
It's been a little while now.
This thing is gorgeous. Soft goods, wire posable cape. You can see the inspiration for it. And I can tell you that those Doom Troopers, oh gosh, what the heck are they called? I don't have mine sitting out here anymore. The Multiverse line, that trooper right there is a work of art. I wish I had bought more of them at JoeFest when they were first offered. And if there are any more left this year, I'm going to get at least one or two more. But this is quality stuff. The packaging is incredible. And I believe he's going to be hanging out with Fresh Monkey Fiction again. That's where he was last year. Mm-hmm. And I think he's going to be hanging out at their booth again this year.
And thank you, Swordsman. He chimed in. They are Dread Troopers.
Dread Troopers. Thank you. There's so many different troopers. It's hard to keep track. All right. We've got a couple of very interesting items coming up next. So this is from LaCroix Toys. And take it in. I'm just going to sit back and let everybody absorb what we're looking at here. This is all 100% tooled by LaCroix Toys. And I believe a partner worked on the Not Manta that we're looking at. This is incredible. I do not know what the price point is going to be on this. I do not know how many he's going to have, but this Chuckles variant with a minigun mounted on a Manta.
A not so minigun.
For ultimate ridiculousness.
Something tells me that thing would just capsize the moment it hit the water, but you know.
I am just dying to see this thing. I look at this. This is a work of artistic insanity.
And that orange shirt on Chuckles, I feel like when they open the box, you're going to see the beam of light just reflecting off of them.
Not
But I
reflecting,
want
that's
it.
emanating from them.
Yeah.
Just this.
Which one of the A-Team figures had the orange, the 3 3/4 inch?
Oh, the
was it Murdoch who had the orange?
I don't remember
jumpsuit?
who had what, and I had those. Because I had the big play mat that they put out that came with all the figures. I don't remember who was in orange, but you're right. It is that same shade of orange. This is beautiful, and it is exactly the kind of thing I would like to own. And speaking of the exact kind of thing, Michael Kleppinger, I love that. I'm sure if he fired up the minigun, it would start going around in a circle like the Tiny Ball Man. Wreckship 85. So is that the same Chuckles artwork from the Hasbro figure packaging? It is certainly an homage to that artwork. Matter of fact, the packaging all around, there's definitely, we call that an homage.
Yes.
Wotav says that's Adventure People Motorcycle Rider Orange.
Yes.
Oh, here we go. David Emanuele is here with some information. Adam Ant casted the figure. Thank you for that. I knew there was more information than what I got. There was a lot of stuff that just popped up on Instagram in the last couple of days, and I was not able to get as thorough notes as I wanted to get.
So now we know that Chuckles doesn't smoke, doesn't dance.
What do
he
do? Moving
he's
on
to
a
stand
character
and deliver. That's what he's going to do.
Moving on to a character that we have mentioned on almost every single episode of Audible Interlude, Honda Lou West, also from LaCroix's Toys. I can't remember if he put up a quantity on these or not. I do not believe a price was put up on these, but for me, this is a must-have.
Yeah.
I know that there's a decent chance Super 7 is going to get around to this character, but oh man,
she looks so good.
Wouldn't it be a kick in the groin if you buy this on Friday and then on Saturday,
and then she gets
Super
shown?
7, they show you this.
Can you have too many Honda Loos?
That's a good point.
Is that a thing?
That's a fair point. And then finally, one more from LaCroix's Toys. They will be doing a raffle for their Axel Foley figures, which apparently are going to be featured in a trailer for something Netflix is doing. But there will be a limited number of these. You buy a $10 raffle ticket from the LaCroix's Toys table, and you will be entered to win one of these fully painted Axel Foley figures. And I want one of these desperately. I want any of their figures fully painted because I bought the Magnum PI, and I know darn well I'm never going to paint that thing.
The head sculpt on that figure is amazing.
Unbelievable. All of his stuff is incredible. And then I think Chicken Fried Toys has an exclusive or two this year, but I couldn't find them. JoeFest didn't repost them. Yeah, Swordsman 007. I want the Magnum PI figure. It's beautiful. And I will have to find the website to share again.
And now that, we're getting Ghostbusters O-ring figures, I feel like I need to get this
right
Foley and, many other characters that exist in pop culture.
Well, if you've got the Ecto one that just came out, and you've got the Super 7 Beastie Boys Sabotage set, you can take one of the bananas that came with the Beastie Boys, stick it in the tailpipe of the Ecto 1, which you actually can't do because I don't think it actually has a tailpipe. But that's okay. We need to move on.
We don't have a Judge Reinhold figure yet, though, so
sadly,
that's still to come.
Next year
is the key word there. Speaking of bananas, whose tailpipe is Destro going to stick that banana in?
Commando.
Find out at JoeFest
and a tailpipe
2024.
Racing.
How do these kismet, these segues, how do these things happen? It's amazing. What a magical show we have here. Oh yeah, we need a Nick Nolte figure. That I would love.
48 hours.
Yeah, 48 hours figure set. There's anything 80s movies, I'm going to buy it. Which we have a segment called Let's Freaking Go Ring that we will be returning to on our next audio episode. And it's my turn, pal. Oh, I've got a good one. Okay, so we got to talk about Chuckles Power Hour. Noel, you hipped me to this. What is this? I don't know anything about it.
So this is essentially the same as you would have at a Star Wars convention or other cons where you get the running of the Wilro hoods, where they take an obscure Star Wars figure or Star Wars character, or they did the Matt the Radar Tech, and you have a lot of people dressed in the same costume.
Okay, yeah.
We've also seen at Dragon Con the runnings of the inflatable T-Rexes in recent years. Yeah. This is just a group fun costume thing. So yeah, if you have a floral shirt, there will be details to come as to when it's actually going to happen, but there will be a running of the Chuckles Power Hour. We did something at JoeCon in Chattanooga years ago.
Now, does it have to be running? Can you just kind of merrily jaunt?
We just stood around last time, so I'm sure that it's just going to be like people standing around in Chuckles costumes.
My top speed is going to be saunter.
So yes, the Chuckles Power Hour happening at some point during JoeFest. It may be a surprise if you're not hip to it, but yeah.
Which that's the kind of fun stuff that happens at cons. Like you're just standing there minding your own business, and all of a sudden 40 Chuckles walk by you. Like that's the kind of stuff I love. So just to bring it back one more time, our meetup will be Friday evening at 9 p.m. And then the Audible Interlude Get Fit March will be 7 a.m. Saturday morning. If you are following Audible Interlude Podcast on Instagram, we will share more details about those events as we get closer. Let's see here. What do we have? Oh, Kevin Riddle's got some good information. Toy Collector is going to be there, and they're going to have a tote with the newest copy of their magazine for the first 500 people to show up at their booth. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that is, we're not going to get into, we had planned to, but there are just too many vendors, companies, and creators for us to list them all. Check out JoeFestUSA.com for the full list of everybody the almost full list. There are some people that I know are going to be there that aren't quite up on the site yet. I know they're very busy, and I think maintaining the site at this point is probably pretty low on their priority list. So basically, once you get to JoeFest, take a look around and figure out who's there. We're excited about everything. It's all going to be great. It's going to be an incredible weekend. And now we have to move on to the greatest segment of the show, Sound Off. Oh, I got to tuck this comment away. Thank you, Kevin Riddle, for your input. It's time for Sound Off, where we take input from audiblearmy.com and from Audible Interlude Podcast on Instagram about what we're going to talk about here on the show. And looking at the time, we are only going to be able to make it to the audiblearmy.com entries this week. So if you commented on the Audible Interlude Podcast on Instagram, be sure and save that one and give it back to us for the July 8th episode. So, from audiblearmy.com, RecShip85 asks, which booth are you going to try to hit first this year? We'll start with that one question. So, Kristian, you said Fresh Monkey Fiction when we were looking at those exclusives.
Mm-hmm.
And while I'm inclined to agree with that, I also feel like those aren't going to be gone. I think my first stop is actually going to be LaCroix's Toys, because I don't know what his quantities are. I don't know what all he's going to have. And again, if he's got a lot of painted samples of the stuff that he does, I'm going to want to load up there. If I can get a painted Magnum PI, probably going to throw $10 towards maybe getting one of those Axel Foley's. I want to check his stuff out because I think it's going to be some of the first stuff to go, because he doesn't do anything in large quantities. So I think that's going to be my first stop.
And that's kind of where I get torn, because I really want that Honda Lou.
Right.
So, yeah, we'll have to see which way the wind blows. But I definitely want the Bloodform Dracula too.
Noel, what about you?
I mean, if I'm thinking about things I might want to buy that are exclusive, I'll probably go to LaCroix's toys because those are definitely things that are more up my alley. But
Yeah.
really, typically when I go to these shows, I'm just going to start walking in and browsing. I like the small vendor booths. That's really my bread and butter there.
Yeah.
I don't typically go for the exclusive figures.
Yeah, I after we get our grubby little mitts on the exclusives, I want to hit up Destro's Toy Den. I want to hit up Toy Federation.
Bring cash because
yeah.
Toy Federation does not take cards.
Yeah, everybody listening, everybody watching, be sure you bring some cash and save it for Toy Federation because they have the best deals, but they're cash only. They won't even do like PayPal, nothing. It's just cash. All right, so next up, what is the exclusive you were looking forward to the most? Well, I think we just answered that one at the same time. Now, Noel, if I know you're not big into the exclusives, well, the Honolulu West is the one that you're probably most tempted by.
Yeah, the Honolulu, like anything that I'll probably throw in for that raffle as well on the Axel Foley.
And then Wreckship 85 finishes up with, I think I'm going to hit Fresh Monkey Fiction first for the Forgotten King figure. And then I've got Patch Czar. Shout out to Patch Czar, who made the patches for our panel shirts. Guys, don't forget your panel shirts. They're absolutely beautiful. Everything he does is incredible. I cannot believe the quality. Like, his patches are... You don't look at them and think, oh, this is a dude that makes patches. You know what I mean? They seem like they are fully professionally manufactured patches. They're incredible work. And he is a more than fair businessman. I won't get into the details, but just incredibly solid dude. I love that guy. He's amazing. And you will get to see some of his work in person at our panel at 10 a.m. Saturday morning.
Yeah, he has, of course, he started doing it as a kind of a side hobby. I mean, it's been 7 or 8 years now, and at this point he's now pretty much supplying all members of the Finest with their patches. So we just go to him because he's a member. He's actually our membership liaison, and he's been helping everybody out with getting patches. He did the patch for my Flash for my Dusty V2 V3, the one that has the wrong way beret, because I had a Flash on there. I still do because I haven't pulled it off and put the new one on there. And I may just because it's going to destroy the beret, I might just buy another beret.
Yeah,
it'll be easier. But yeah, just stuff like that. He can pretty much do anything. He got he got Rebecca the proper patch for her Lady J costume, because again, we were just working with existing army patches before.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. That was actually the first thing I got from him, and it is not going to make it to JoeFest, but I have resumed work on my Special Mission Brazil dial tone, and I will have it at DragonCon. He did the patches for that, which they were ones he had not done before, and I just sent him the pictures, and they're perfect.
He did our Dreadnought patches that we did for our
oh yeah, that's
costumes.
right. That's right. Yeah, Patch Czar is absolutely amazing, and he's going to have a bunch of the Hiss Tank logo patches, or the Hiss support army, whatever, patches and sticker sets. All right, moving on. From audiblearmy.com, Toy Reclaimer, JoeFest. What does the preview night look like? It's basically the whole floor is open for a couple hours. Like, it's not hugely different from just being there Saturday morning, but there are way less people there because a lot of people do just come in for Saturday. I found Friday evening, it's not really night, Friday evening, to be much less congested. And if you see something Friday night you want, you better go ahead and get it. But yeah, it's cool. It's worth being there. And yeah, it's only 2 hours. They just open up for a couple hours. People do, like, all of the vendors are in there Friday night. Like, it is basically just an early opening. Pretty excited, but still have some FOMO as I'm not sure where to start looking. Also, for autographs, is this a thing you sign up for in advance pay or just jump in line? Just at JoeFest every other year, just jump in line. Everyone I've gotten there now, and it depends from person to person. Usually Well, I think everybody's smartened up now. It used to be that like the voice actors and some of the other talents would just might be selling 8x10s or would just sign stuff and that was that. But I think everybody's smartened up to this point to where they realize like they need to have prices up and they need to be, $20 to sign a comic or a figure, $40 for a selfie with a signed comic and figure. And I'm just throwing prices out there. I'm not saying that's what they're going to be, but do expect, and you should. These people should be charging for these signatures. I don't think anybody should sign anything for free. That's my personal opinion. Unless it's you buy the 8x10 and then they sign it. Like, that's fine. But nobody should just be giving away signatures at these things, is my personal belief, because they've worked really hard to build a name, to establish themselves, to add to our pop culture, to enrich our lives. And we should be paying them for signatures. We should be paying them for autographs, which is why I said I hope Michael Charles Hill has something that he's had produced so he can make some money at this thing signing stuff. I think all of these creators should be able to capitalize on what they've contributed to our fandom.
And since I have contributed nothing to this world, I will sign anything you guys want me to. I'll sign it any name that you want me to, and I won't charge.
He'll sign it anywhere that you want him to.
The sun goes down.
Swordsman 007 says, I need that Magnum PI and that Necromancer from Grindhouse. Michael Klebinger says, LaCroix is also doing a factory-produced Solid Snake using tools from Strikeforce Alpha. That is awesome. And looking at this Strikeforce Alpha figure that I have had sitting on my desk because I just can't put it away yet, I can see that. Very cool. Okay. And finally, our last one from audiblearmy.com. Matthew Comstock says, which record store is Dave hitting first? Excellent question, but I do have to tell you, I'm not going to be hitting any record stores in Augusta because my budget is JoeFest first. So it's toys, G.I. Joe, collectibles at JoeFest first. But after JoeFest, we leave to go visit my parents in Wilmington, North Carolina, where I will be doing the interview with Lieutenant Colonel Mongoose. And there is a record shop in Wilmington, North Carolina called Gravity Records that is an excellent record store. So that is actually the record store that I will be visiting first. It's just not going to be in Augusta. It's going to be in Wilmington. But every year when we make this trip, because this is our standard circle that we do, every year I end up buying a bunch of stuff from Gravity Records because they're fantastic. They're great people, great selection, great store. Love going there. And that brings us to the end of another episode of Audible Interlude, a G.I. Joe podcast. Before we go, Kristian, any final thoughts about JoeFest? Any last things to mention as I pick this gun up off the floor?
No, the final thoughts that I have are for Joe and Tell.
Oh, that's right. We
Spoiler
are supposed to be doing. I put Joe and Tell on the thing, and you guys are so excited about it. I guess we have to do it. I was gonna skip over it.
Well, because honestly, it's only because of Noel. Because once again, Noel with his teasing, I have to see what.
Okay, all right. Then we will now move into Joe and Tell, sponsored by Slickalicious. Our pal Slickalicious designed a lot of our shirts that you can find on TeePublic. Go to the pinned stories at Audible Interlude Podcast on Instagram. Get yourself some Audible Interlude merch, or hit us up at JoeFest. We will have not this hat, but the better version of the hat available for $20. Also, check out Shop Slickalicious on Instagram and GIJive.com. All right. So, Kristian, you're going to go first because I've got to figure out what I'm going to tell.
Well, so I just wanted to remind everybody that one of my favorite things about JoeFest meeting our listeners and hanging out. So definitely, if you see me, come up, introduce yourself, and let's chat all things Joe and whatever. And also make sure you're doing the same with some of these dealer booths and the companies that are going to be there, because there is such a huge glow up from last year JoeFest, which was amazing and awesome, to this year, that it's only going to get bigger, and we may not have the same kind of opportunities to be able to spend 10-15 minutes, talking to Delta 17 or Super 7. It's only going to get busier, so take advantage of it. And shots on everyone.
All right, I'll go next because obviously Noel has something big here he's got to save. And I'll say this real quick. Swordsman 007, if you were me, which record store would you hit? I'll tell you what, if there's a record store in walking distance of the convention center, hit me up and we'll go to the record store.
I don't believe there is.
Yeah, I don't believe there is either.
Not much
But
around
if
here.
you find one, I'm in. Okay, so here, I wasn't sure if I wanted to do this or not, but because Patchzar is such a decent dude, we actually have a couple of extra patches. This is the patch that is on our panel shirts. These are not ever going to be available anywhere. I'm not going to sell these. You're not going to be able to get a panel shirt for yourself unless one of these guys quits and I have to find somebody else to fill their slot. So these patches by Patchzar, you can see right there. I have 2 extras. I will be inserting these into random itty bitty ditty bags to give away at JoeFest. So the only way you can get one of these AI pod patches is if you are wearing Audible Interlude merch when we see you, or you show up to the panel and contribute in some way to the panel, whether it's trivia, answering, giving input in some way, and engaging with the panel. That is the only way. I have 2 of these, and that's how you can get them. So that is my Joe and Tell. All right, Noel.
All right.
Mr. Big Shot.
The anticipation. This better live up to the hype.
Mr. One-Upper.
You said the word big, and that's a word that I will have to use tonight. So I don't typically make like large toy purchases before JoeFest. Specifically, I'm not going to typically make a lot of large Joe purchases.
Oh my gosh, what are we doing?
But I'm going to lift this up just to show you the size of a box that I've opened to make sure that there are things inside of it.
If this ding dong bought a USS flag,
I don't think a flag would fit in that box unless it was obliterated. I am going to use the old presenting. Let's see, share.
I think it's the kid he's going to use to
get the Marauder figure.
Yeah. But then he's going to ship it back and be like, it doesn't look like the photo.
Is it going to let me share that? There it goes. Okay, I'm going to share that. Can you see that on the?
Oh my gosh! What?
So that's what's inside that box.
Whoa!
And that's a lot of stuff. As you can see, there is a whale that is mostly intact. There's a tactical battle platform. There's a Mobat, a devilfish, shark.
Part of a mamba.
Yeah, part of there's one of the the cockpits for the mamba. There's a snowcat. Now all this stuff is it's been loved.
Sure.
But as you can see on that whale, there are some nice intact veins on the back.
Dude, I'm looking at the windscreen on the tactical battle platform.
Windscreen on the battle platform. I was hoping for unbroken tabs on the rocket launcher for the tactical battle platform. Unfortunately, it does have unbroken tabs at the base, but it does have a broken tab where the rockets clip on. So, but regardless, I'm in a few different Facebook groups. I saw this pop up, and the guy said, I'm selling all this. I'll part it out if you like, but if you want the whole thing, you'll get first priority. $100.
No.
Somehow I knew that's the number you were going to drop on us. Wow.
And I was like, all right, let me. Somebody else had already said, okay, sending you PM. I was like, well, I'll go ahead and send him one too. So I would send the message. He replied back to me and he goes, I got to figure out shipping. I'll let you know. He can't with shipping price, which is a fair amount of money, but
sure,
considering what you're getting right there,
it wouldn't surprise me if the shipping was $100.
Shipping was about $53. So
okay, that's not bad.
But still, all that came in that package for that amount of money. It was delivered to me within. I actually got it on Sunday, so I had made the purchase as we were going live last Monday. I was finishing up the PayPal transaction.
How you kept this a secret? You are a stronger will-powered man than I.
Well, before you came on last week, I was telling Dave I was cooking up something, but I wasn't going to say anything until it actually showed up. So it showed up. That's what's inside that box, and I can confirm that, at least from my initial peering, that everything you see pictured is in there. So
that's great.
Yeah, that
awesome.
was a little and I mean, really for the whale, because I looked at it, I was like, oh, those intact veins, I can use that to fix the one that's not intact on mine.
Yeah.
I don't know if the whale has the windscreen. That's the other part that I'm missing. And
it
the repro
looks
I bought
like
is
it does.
Junk. Yeah,
it looks like it's on there, doesn't it?
Let me look again at that because I can't tell. Actually, it might be. Yeah,
it really looks like it's on there to me.
I kind of now want Noel to have a trench coat for JoeFest and be walking around with all the like miscellaneous cockpits and rockets. Be like, yo,
need a cockpit?
Need a Mamba
Have a cockpit here.
Need a Mamba cockpit.
Yeah, need a Mamba cockpit.
Don't know if I'm going to be able to get into this box between now and JoeFest to really.
No, I wouldn't bother because you won't be able to savor it.
Yeah,
you should just wait till after JoeFest, and you can savor like going through each thing. Now you'd have to kind of rush. Well, that's fantastic. I'm actually not jealous of that. Like that's just awesome. That's cool.
It's a good deal, and I was like, all right, cool. I mean, that whale alone probably goes for twice the base price easily, even if it's in junky condition.
Well, excellent, Joe and Tell. I'm glad we came back around and did that. But now we got to wrap this thing up. Everybody, please check out audiblearmy.com. You get my show notes before each episode is released, early and ad-free access to all audio episodes, exclusive video access to our audio episodes, and early access to everything G.I. Joe on the Needless Things YouTube channel. Only $1.99 a month gets you really twice as much content as you're getting for free in the public feed from Needless Things and from wherever you get your podcast. Kristian, where can we find that toy photography that you do so well?
You can find me on Instagram under the codename Legion Cub.
Noel, why don't you tell us a little bit more about the Finest?
Finest is the International G.I. Joe Costuming Club that I happen to be a member of. There will be a Finest booth at JoeFest, so go by. There'll be some cool swag they'll be handing out. There will be I think they're doing some dog tags this year as well. But there's also, there'll be posters and things like that as well that you can grab. But, throw a few extra bucks our way for a great cause. Canines for Warriors is what we raise money for. Go to thefinestcc.com if you're interested in learning some more information.
Well, that is all we've got for this week. Noel and Kristian, it's awesome hanging out with you guys every week. And we will be hanging out in person in just a few days. Everybody in the chat, so excited to see all of you at JoeFest. Anybody listening, come find us. Hang out. Maybe if you get me drunk enough, I'll just start handing out itty bitty ditty bags to everybody. Who knows what could happen? It's JoeFest. It's the best time ever. And until then, yo, Joe.
Cobra Fest.